Hey, what's up guys? It's Pete with MixBetterNow.com, and today I want to show you the CLA Vocal EFX Chain and how you can apply that to the vocals in your mix. Let's check it out. All right, so as you guys can see, I have a session pulled open here in Pro Tools on the screen. This is Lights Are Low from Matt McKelkin. I have 3 effects currently on the screen. We are going to be taking a look at a vocal plate. We're going to be taking a look at a stereo quarter note delay, and then finally we're going to be taking a look at a mono slap delay. All right, but first I'm going to play a little bit of this from the second verse so you can hear what we got going on.
We bent and we tried till the past came around. Beating hearts in different rhythm makes such a terrible sound. We don't know a thing, and we've been here waiting for such a long time, and I can't help.
Okay, so the first effect that I want to talk about that Chris Lord-Alge will use on his vocals and his mixes is a vocal plate. I've been fortunate enough to see Chris mix a bunch of times in a bunch of different scenarios, you know, mix with the masters, a bunch of different places, and I will constantly see him use these 3 effects. First up will be a vocal plate. Second up will be a quarter note delay in stereo, followed up by a mono slap delay. Okay, what I'm going to do first is let's go ahead and bypass the effects here on the vocal, which is the top track here. We'll solo it so we can hear what it sounds like dry without the effects. So this is from verse 1.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound. Blankets can't cover this empty feeling without you around.
Okay, so the vocal sounds good. We've done a little EQing, a little bit of compressing, a little bit of de-essing. And before these effects on my sends, I have some parallel vocal compression going. That's not a standard, that's not a requirement, that's just kind of what I like, and that's how I do it. But I want to talk about the first effect that Chris uses, which is this a vocal plate. Okay, so essentially, you know, it's a typical your standard vocal plate reverb that you can find on a bunch of different plugins. The one that I have pulled open here is the Valhalla Vintage Verb. This is a fantastic plugin. Sounds great. It's $50, and it contains a whole slew of different sounds. But I wanted to use this just because the interface is very easy to look at, nice big buttons and stuff like that. I do want to show you this with all the stock plugins that come with Pro Tools, because you can do this in any DAW with any stock plugins. So as we take a look here, there's a couple things that, well, one thing in particular that Chris says he likes to do on his plate reverb, and that's use a lot of pre-delay, okay? So he says he'll use anywhere between a 150 millisecond pre-delay all the way maybe to a 200 millisecond, which is quite a bit. So as you can see, the pre-delay knob is down here. And I want you to listen when we engage this. So here is the plate, here's the fader, and let's go ahead and listen.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound. Blankets can't cover this empty feeling without you around.
Okay, so it sounds really good, like I said, but I want to, you know, kind of take a look at the pre-delay, how it sounds when we pull it back, and why it sounds very CLA-like, if you will, when you increase it. It's almost become like a signature part of his reverb sound. And I also want to take a look at the delay time, okay, the decay, as it's also known. That's going to be how long your reverb is measured in seconds right here. It's around 2 seconds long. The other thing that this plugin has, which, you know, Deverb has as well, I believe, is we have a high cut and a low cut on the EQ. So we can basically do our filtering right on the plugin. When I saw Chris do it, he put an EQ before his reverb, I believe, and then he filtered the bottom and the top. I think he notched a bit of upper mids out as well. But what I've done here is I've rolled off a bunch of the high end, and I've rolled off just a little bit of the sub lows. Okay, so 2 second delay and a longer pre-delay. Let's just hear what it sounds like when I pull this back.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound. Blankets can't cover this empty feeling.
So you get a lot less early reflections.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound.
Okay, and it just kind of makes the reverb seem a little bit longer because, you know, plates are typically a shorter sounding reverb. They add a little bit of depth and a bit of width. So that's essentially it. That's the first thing that Chris throws up on his vocal. The way that I have it set up on the deverb is like so. I'm using the large plate setting. And okay, so pre-delay, we're on 150 millisecond. Right here, again, you see the decay time is 2 seconds. The high frequency cut, so again, we're at about 9.5K. And it sounds like this.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound.
Now the deverb just sounds a little bit crispier on top to me, so I went ahead and did a little bit of EQing here, rolling off some of the bottom, some of the top, and then getting rid of some of the, you know, some of that presence around 4K. Sounds like this.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound.
Okay, so it's a great starting point for your vocal. I'm just going to leave this up. And the next thing that Chris likes to do, which is fantastic, is he will use a quarter note stereo delay. So let me go ahead and pull open what I was using. I was using the Echo Boy here. Now, just so you can visually take a look and see, what he will do is delay is a time-based effect, okay? So what's important here is that we lock in the delay to the BPM of your track, okay? So in this case, the BPM is 148. So what I've done is I've clicked the follow button here, so it locks the delay in. Okay, so then what I do is I come over here to the note. I make sure that it's at a quarter note here. I'll do the same here. So quarter note. I set it to dual echo. We don't want it on single. Don't want it on ping pong. Just a straight up stereo delay. Set it to quarter note so that it locks in. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit time, and this is gonna tell us what to the decimal point what the quarter note of 148 BPM is. So it's 405.4 milliseconds. Now here's what Chris does that makes this sound fantastic and makes it very smart, is he will add 10 milliseconds to the other side of the delay. What that does is it gives us a little bit more width, a little bit of space, and a little bit of warble, like a little bit of movement, almost like it's kind of chorusing a little bit. Not like, you know, like 80s chorus or anything like that, but like just a little bit of movement on each side. So what we do then is we go to note, and it'll be the same thing. Time, and we're just going to add 10. So 405.4 will be 415.4. Okay. A little bit of feedback. Feedback is a taste thing. That's going to be your delay tails. So you can control that however much feedback you want or you don't want. Make sure it's on 100% wet. And I like to do a little bit of filtering again with the low cut and the high cut here. All right. So let's go ahead and listen to the quarter note.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound. Blankets can't cover this empty feeling without you around.
I'm going to push that up and exaggerate it so you can really hear what it's doing.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound. Blankets can't cover this empty feeling without you.
Okay, let's bring in the plate. So now we got the plate going into the quarter note stereo delay.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound. Blankets can't cover this empty feeling without you around.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, sticking with the stock plug-in thing, I'm going to grab the mod delay. Again, I'm just doing a little bit of filtering, very slight filtering on the bottom and the top here. It doesn't need as much as the plate did, in my opinion. Okay, so here is the mod delay. As you can see, the only difference here is we lock in the tempo. You hit the sync button here, and then instead of having an actual quarter note, you know, 1/4 as in a fraction. You know, this is a standard note that you would find on sheet music. The quarter note is the third from the left. So this is a whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, etc. Okay, so like I said before, you just find what the quarter note is on 148 BPM, right? 405.4, and I just added 10 to the other side here. All right, feedback's around 50%. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound.
Okay, so it still sounds good. You can do this in any DAW with any of your stock plugins. Last up, we're doing a mono slap delay, okay? It is measured to 166 milliseconds. So essentially what Chris was talking about is that back in the day, everybody was really enamored and in love with John Lennon's vocal sound that he got when using delay. And they found out, they measured it, they found out it was 166 milliseconds. Turns out that's pretty much the exact delay time that you would get from recording at 15 IPS into a tape machine. So that's kind of what we got going on here. I am using the Waves J37. Again, it doesn't matter the plugin, but I've just set it up so that we have 166 milliseconds down here. This is my feedback or my repeats, and we just have a nice thick, it's just a tape slap. That's really all it is. So let's turn that on. Sounds like this.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound. Blankets can't cover this empty feeling without you around.
Okay, by itself, it sounds like this.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound. Blankets can't cover this empty feeling without you around.
Okay, we'll bring in all three.
Light slips through the cracks without a sound. Blankets can't cover this empty feeling without you around.
Now here's the other thing that I want to stress is that I like to get my level like I was just doing in solo, but of course nothing matters what it sounds like in solo, it matters what it sounds like in the context of the mix. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the whole band in, and then I'm going to readjust my levels because in solo we're able to hear more of the effect, so now I want to turn everything up a little bit, blend it in, and get our level. So I like to go sequentially here. We'll move this guy over here. So here is our send to our slap. There's the quarter note. And here is the plate. So now I got all the faders in front of me and I can adjust as needed. Okay, let's go from the second verse because we have more instrumentation in there. I want to go from a thick part, that way I know I'm not overdoing it with the effect. All right.
We bent and we tried till the past came around. Beating hearts in different rhythm makes such a terrible sound. We don't know a thing. And we've been here waiting for such a long time, and I can't help the feeling for what's on your mind. Watching you pull, but I don't wanna fix you letting go. I only hear you singing, it's all over now.
Okay, let's go from a verse.
Lights slip through the cracks without a sound.
See right there, I can hear just a little bit too much of that tape. I can hear the tail, so I want to pull that down.
Lights slip through the cracks without a sound. Blankets can't cover this empty feeling without you around. The alarm rings loud. We've been here waiting for such a long time, and I can't help the feeling for what's on your mind. Been watching you pull, but I don't wanna fix you letting go. It's all over now.
So see on the end there, I just kind of raised the fader on the send to the quarter note stereo. You know, that's just another tasting that I might do. You could do some vocal delays, some vocal throws by automating your fader there in your session. So in summation, essentially the first up that Chris uses is a vocal plate. The key to the vocal plate sound is a long pre-delay, so like 150 milliseconds, 200 milliseconds, you know, blend the taste, that's your choice. You know, the one I saw him do, I think he was using a 2-second decay. Again, you know, tailor those to the BPM, to the tempo of your session, because that's really the most important thing. Next up, stereo quarter note delay. Sync it to the BPM of your session, okay? And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna add 10 milliseconds to the other side of that stereo delay, adjust the feedback to taste. And then last up, you're gonna use a mono slap delay. And the magic number here is 166 milliseconds on the slap. Again, adjust the feedback to taste. And that is essentially the CLA Vocal EFX Chain that you've heard on countless records, and it sounds fantastic. And it's just a nice thing to go to, like whenever you're in a pinch, like if you just kind of, you know, you're throwing up different effects and things might not be working for you, just strip it all down, throw it away, and, you know, start fresh. And maybe, you know, you can kind of go to this. I have these built into my templates, like, you know, so it'll say CLA quarter note or it'll say CLA slap. And it's just helpful because I have other slaps and I have other quarter notes up, but these are kind of special for you know, particular reasons, and I find them helpful. All right, so that's it for me. My name is Pete with mixbetternow.com. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I will catch you guys soon.